Thank you for selecting my SQL Server 2014 Express playlist. Point of this video series is speed, brevity, and clarity. The goal is in under 10 minutes, you have the outline to complete the lesson. Each video will have a corresponding blog post. You can find the blog post in the video's description below, and where appropriate, my GitHub account will be referenced for you to download files. This video is about table population. You can populate tables in one of three ways, and I'll demonstrate all three ways. The first way is using SQL Server Management Studio's editor, where you can manually key in directly the information just like you would in Excel or in Microsoft Access. The next way is using T-SQL's insert statement, and you can have a series of insert statements to be able to insert as many rows as you want. The last way is to use Microsoft Excel and use data import to import the tables directly, or input the data directly into the tables. So let's get started. To populate a table through data entry in Ssms is quite easy. So we're going to pick the person table, and we're going to right mouse button click it, and we're going to choose Edit Top 200 Rows. Now remember, the person ID is an identity and it autofills, so you don't type in that field. Instead, I'll leave the prefix and the suffix empty. Instead, you skip it and it'll autofill when you leave the field. So what birthday would we like for this? 9/10/2015. And you can see the 1 there. – 9/10/2015 wasn't very good, was it? Let's edit that again. Let's show you how to edit that after we insert this row. So now both of those rows have been edited, and you can see that they're there. There is a trick. Once you get to a lot of data, what you can do is click on the SQL button that says Show SQL Panel, or Control-3 is the hotkey. You can see that this is editable. And the reason why this is beneficial is you want to see the bottom 200 rows. You can do an order by statement in the select statement here. This select statement that you're seeing here is part of CRUD. It's part of DML. DML is data manipulation language, which is insert, update, delete, and select. Okay. So we've got the data in place. So let's go double check that the data's in there. Right mouse button, click on person, and script table as select to new query editor window. And from here, you can either run the query by clicking on the execute button, or you can hit F5. And there are 2 rows. And that's how you can edit through SSMS's editor. So the next way you can insert rows into a table is using an insert statement. An insert statement has a certain syntax, of course. I think that's to be expected. And the nice thing is Microsoft will generate it for you. So let's insert another row into person. Right mouse button, click person. Pick script table as insert to new query editor. And they'll give you a starting point. Now notice that they're smart, that they did not include in this insert statement a person ID. Why? Because a person ID is an identity primary key that auto-populates. That's why. So let's add somebody else. So we're going to go to first name, and we'll use a single quote. And who do we want to call this? Bob. So you see that the parentheses have to match, and of course the parentheses are up here for this list. Now I'm not adding a prefix and a suffix, so I don't have to actually include them. You can just blow them away and take them out there. As long as the fields allow nulls, and prefix and suffix do, we're good to go. And we don't have to include a birth date if we don't want. We could blow that away. It could just be the first name and last name. So What you do when you're inserting is, see this checkbox here called parse? Click that. Commands completed successfully, that's great. If we took something off and checked it, it would tell us there's a syntax and error, and we can fix that with the parenthesis. We spelled values wrong as value. That would give us a problem as well. So this is a very simple insert statement. Check it again, good to go. You don't have to do that, by the way. Once you get really comfortable, you'll probably never do it, but unless something's really complex. I'll hit execute. Oh, there we go. And now let's go create, or go check everybody that's in the person table. And I'll hit F5. There's Bob Barker. He's there with Alex Ross and Mark Wade. So there we go. That's how you can add a person through SQL using an insert statement. I will point out though that there's tricks you can do in Excel to write the SQL syntax, and then you can copy and paste in place. You can also, if you're transforming a table or moving something from one place to the other, you can write SQL syntax to generate insert statements that you steal. You can also, of course, if you're connected, you could just insert the rows directly into the table of your first database. Cross database queries, that might be something to cover later. So that concludes how to populate tables using T-SQL. So then we're going to move on. So the next thing we need to do is to import a Microsoft Excel file into SQL Server. But to do that, we're going to need a Microsoft Office component. If you don't install the Microsoft Office component on the VirtualBox instance that I started with, you're going to get this error. So I'm going to walk you through very quickly what to do about this. So why were we getting that error? We were getting the error because Microsoft Office is not installed. So you can do one of two things. You could either download Microsoft Office, or you could download the Office components that will allow it to work with Microsoft SQL Server, which is what we're going to do. So to do that, go ahead and click on the link and do the download. And when you do, you'll get this Access Database Engine.exe. We're going to launch this. And walk through the install. And it's done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a Microsoft Excel file and import it into one of the tables in the contact DB for person. So I've opened Excel to show you what they are. We're going to import Bob Big Boy, Alex Wade, Bobby Wade, Reginald Byerly, 10, 11, 12, 13. And let's get rid of that. So how are we going to do it? Right mouse button click, Contact DB, Tasks. At the bottom under Tasks is Import Data. The data we're going to import is Microsoft Excel. So as the data source, you're going to pick Microsoft Excel. I know, shocking, right? Now, for the browse, we're going to choose 05 import data.xlsx. As you saw before, each column had a header, and that's what this means. First row has column names. Now for the destination, you want to choose Microsoft OLEDB provider for SQL Server, and you'll see they want to do it to the contact database on our server. Windows authentication. All this looks good. Say next. Copy data from one or more tables or views. Yes. We're going to import the person to DBO person, and we're going to edit the mappings. So first name is 100, last name is 100, prefix is 20, suffix is 10. That looks good. Append rows to the destination table. Yes. Enable identity insert. Yes. The reason why we're enabling identity insert, what that says is that if we're providing the primary key, use our primary key, not the automatically assigned one. And we'll say next. And I'm going to click preview. Let's see what that does. Look at that. I like it. Next. So from person to person, or person dollar, the dollar sign is for the tab. Next. What this is saying is that the version that we have can't save it and go back to it. Just going to finish it. Four rows transferred. And this is cautioning that we could truncate the first name and the last name because of the data that was supported by Excel. It's a false negative. And if we run this again, ta-da! Imports. So this concludes the importing of tables. So on to the next video, I hope.